What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us again on Be the Trader. Today, I kind of want to do a recap of the month and talk about how my month is. And my buddy here, Carl Fred, he's also a trader that some would say he's my tab. A lot of people, if you don't know what that is trading accountability buddy, and something MIC started it, really making mainstream. And Carl Fred, welcome to the show, my man. Thank you for joining me.
Hey Alex, thanks for having me. Always good to, I guess, we usually have these in private, but it's just gonna be good to share a bit about, the month, as you said, a few key points and key learning experiences that can hopefully help others and of course also help ourselves.
Absolutely, man. That's what it's about. So, if you want, I mean, I could start if you want, or you want to start. What do you want?
I can start.
Okay.
I could say that I've been a trader for 2 years, officially 2 years since I started. This December that just passed makes it 2 years live. And I'm from Haiti, so I live in the Caribbean. I have a full-time job, and so trading is part-time, and hopefully working to be able to make it a full time thing. So but it's been tough. It's been tough. It's been exciting, and I'm just blessed that I've been able to last this long and to be able to have as many aha moments as I've had, and I'm looking forward to many more because I think they keep coming, and every time they come, of course, they better the whole experience, and gives you more drive to keep on going and to be able to reach that level and that point where you can no longer make the kind of mistakes that I've had in January, which we'll get to. And that's it. So I'm blessed, excited, and I've I've found that compared to many other sectors, the trading community has definitely allowed me to meet amazing people, just like you, Alex, and so many more who've been so helpful throughout the whole process, and share knowledge, because people tend to think that there's a holy grail out there, and in reality I think the holy grail is ourselves, is just to be able to control ourselves. So
Boom.
that's
That's great. The Holy Grails ourselves. I never even thought about saying that. I'm kind of jealous that you took that. So that's awesome. I like that. So let's talk about our months. Like, how was your month so far? What's your focus? The number one thing we always try to do, everyone, is talk about how our month was with one another. What can we do to improve? And what is our main focus for February? So that's what we're going to accomplish today. So what's your focus? What do you want to accomplish?
myself. I think I've reached a point where I spot my trades, let's say, spot my setups and spot exactly what I want to do. I know how to manage and do what I want to do. Now, I think, like I mentioned to you, of course, it could be that I think that's the only area that I have left to fix. And once that's done, I think my trading will be at a whole other level. And basically, it's the point of not freezing up when something blows past your risk, because sometimes you could be at a point where you have your finger on the trigger if you don't use hard stops and you have hotkeys as to stop out, and then suddenly you get a huge pop if you're short, and it blows past your risk area, and instead of still getting out, you freeze up and just say, okay, let me just try to manage this since I'm way above where I was supposed to stop out, which is completely the wrong thing to do. So from August to December, I mean, I've had a steady, very steady incline curve for my performance, above 70% win rate, doing really well. And from time to time, have these huge losses. And in January is again happened to me. And I told myself, hey, just manage it. Let's just try to manage it, which is completely the wrong thing to do. Adding to a loser, adding to a loser, adding to a loser. And you tend to reach a point where when the stock fades down and you're like basically a few cents away from your average, and instead of saying, okay, I actually made this out of the hole, let me get out, of course you're not going to get out. Since you've managed it, now you want to be profitable on it, and of course it turns against you and you're back to where you started, and even worse, until as they say in some books, you reach a point where you have a balance. On one side, you have the acceptance that you're wrong, and on the other side, you have that dollar loss. And you reach a point where the dollar loss is so heavy compared to just accepting you're wrong that you just have to kind of click the button and basically stop out. And I had shared with you, if I had waited 5 more minutes, the offering actually happened. I think it was SNCR, and the offering actually happened, which would have given me a huge win, probably close to $6,000-7,000 win. So that had a double effect on me, and I'm actually happy that I actually didn't last that 5 minutes and turned it to a win, because that would have gave me a completely false habit, if you want to call it that. And next time I'll say, hey, since I manage SNCR, maybe I can manage this again. So that's the complete wrong approach. So I'm happy that I took that big loss. And besides that, my January was great. I could say I had a good January, but that one mistake definitely blew the whole thing apart. So it was a good lesson. It was a good lesson, and I think many people deal with that.
Absolutely. What do you want to? What's your focus in for February?
Well, you've been encouraging me to stick to hard stops, and I think that my goal is that because I know my risk before I enter a trade, and most of the times, if I don't get these huge pops that blow through my risk, if it's a slow grind up to my stop, I stop out regularly. But instead of doing that, set a hard stop, and that way, if it blows past, it'll still get stopped out, even if there's slippage. But at least it won't put me in a position where I'm brain froze and trying to convince myself that I could manage my way out of it, because that's not trading. That's hoping, praying, and watching every single tick passing, and that's not even worth that mental stress.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do. I mean, I've been there too. It's so easy to do where if it slips, because I used to not use hard stops, and whenever it slipped right through it, maybe 10, 20 cents, I'm like, you're in that fight. You're like, do I just cut it? It could drop down, and I don't like to be in that position anymore, because I've taken huge losses because of that. And so the hard stop, I used to fight it because I was like slippage. I didn't want that extra 20, maybe sometimes it could be 10-cent slippage. Sometimes it could be 20 if it skyrockets. But I
Mm-hmm.
rather take that hit than take a dollar loss, or 50-cent loss, a 60,
So
70-cent loss, because those could wreck our mental capital so much, and it can really mess up your trading. So appreciate you sharing that, man, because I know I've been through it. I know you're going to correct it, and this month I think that'll be a big change for you. For me personally, it's my month went really well, except the last week of the month. And my month was better than December. Everything's improved. Profit factors increase. My win percentage increase. My losses decreased. My biggest gain increased. But the last week of the month, really, I took nothing but losses. And those the last 3 days. Those are the only times I trade. And I was reviewing my trades, and they were all outside of my setup, all outside of my lane, every single one of them. And there were some longs in there, and there were some shorts in there. But the majority of them, I mean, I would say it's half and half. But what I've noticed for myself is when I find myself finding success and being consistent and growing, it's like all of a sudden I want a new challenge. Like I want something different. And it's like, so I try to find, let me swing this, let me long this, let me try this. And then I just take those all become losses because I have no skills in those games. And then
so
and then I'll pick random trades that are shorts, but they're not my setup. But I think because I'm doing so well that I can short anything now. Like let me just short this, and then I'll take all these little paper cuts that add up. And outside influences affect me. They really do. And I can admit that. It sucks admitting that because, Carl, you and me, man, we're chatting every day and we trade different but similar, right? Like we're both short sellers, but you short pre-market and you're comfortable with that. I let that influence me because I'm not a pre-market trader, but like that, if I'm honest, that's influenced me recently to where I'm shorting pre-market and I suck at that. And then, or I'll see someone else, another buddy of mine, because I'm meeting a lot of people through the show that are doing XYZ shorting, and it's making me like, oh, that's a good idea. And I don't take their idea, but it influenced me to see another ticker, and I'm like, oh, I could do this here, and I'll trade it there. So I need to get rid of that for the month of February. I'm not gonna place any trades like at all when it comes to outside of my lane. I'm staying in
Yeah.
my lane
So
all of February. That's the focus. February is lane only, and not doing anything else. And I keep on telling myself, let me try small size. Let me risk, small size on these. Let me give these trades just like practice trade, but small size so it won't affect me. I'm lying to myself. It affects me a lot because it affects my mental capital. And if my gains are not huge, right? Like if let's say my gains are $300 and I'm risking small size on these filler trades that aren't my setup for $50, $20, maybe $25 risk. Well, that's not a big deal, but since it's not a big deal, I'll trade multiple and then it equals to 150. And now I took
exactly.
half of a normal winning day from me, and that can really mess up my mentality. That can mess up my statistics on my trader view. It can mess up a lot of things, and I'm not ready for that. And that's something I gotta accept and know that until I can grow this account to a sizable amount where maybe a trade, every winning's 1,000, 2,000. If that happens, then great. If I risk $25, that's a small percentage of my normal gains. But if it ends up, and then if you do multiple of them, 150, it's still a small percentage. But 150 of 300 is 50% of your profits on a normal winning trade. So that's something I cannot do anymore. That's something I got to stay away from, and that's my focus. Now, one thing that's helped me a ton, which I know you're going to be joining me too this month. I think you let me know, but it's no look February. So I did no look December, no look January, and that's what's helped me become profitable or stay consistently profitable even when I'm branching out my lane. Because even though I branch out my lane, taking some losses, I've been profitable each month, and that's really nice because in the past, like if I branch out my lane, I wouldn't be profitable because it would affect me for other trades in the future. So I'm not looking at profits for all of February at all. I'm not going to do that. And I'm only going to upload it at the end of the month. And then the other thing I was going to say is, I mean, that's pretty much it. So my focus is stay in my lane. Don't let anyone outside influence me. Don't experiment. Protect my mental capital, and don't look at any P&L slash upload trades to the end of the month.
Well, to me, definitely, it's helped you. I mean, I've seen your trades, December, January for sure. They've been spot on, improved a lot. So I think, and for me, it affects me, no doubt. Like for example, if I'm in a trade and then I'm just in the trade, I feel perfectly comfortable, and suddenly my eyes kind of like see P&L and I see I'm up $600. Believe me, I'm like $600. Hells yeah, I'm covering 50%. Whereas I was comfortably holding it for more fade, and I was going according to plan. So P&L definitely has an effect on the following a trade plan and doing things according to what you had planned to do. So even if I'm going to try to do the full month, I'll at least try to do a week. I'll say, okay,
Yeah,
I'll do the first week, and then at the end of the week, I'll upload the week and see how that goes. And if that goes well, I say, okay, now let me try 2 weeks, because going a full month, I would love to be able to do it. I don't know if I will, but it's because it's still exciting sometimes to know exactly how was your day, how was your week, and things like that. So I definitely will do the week. So starting Monday through Friday, I'll do the full week. I already went through my platform and took out all the P&L windows and saved them. So that's a wrap. Something else for me, which is something that I want to correct for February. Sometimes all of us have a trade plan. Say, okay, we're getting higher highs. We're above support. Once volume kicks in, I want to go. I want to go long right here. Of course, I use specific EMAs, which is part of my plan. I mean, part of my setup. So I would go long, risking the EMA, and then of course, once the volume comes in, I see everything happening, and I don't go long. Let's say I would hold myself back, and then it starts moving, and then that FOMO kicks in. Said, hey, you were right all along. Why didn't you get in? And then, okay, why didn't you? And then next thing you know, my finger is like clicking the buttons, and then I'm long 10, 15 cents farther than where I was supposed to go long with the same size. There's nothing wrong with it if you're going at least half size and still keeping the initial risk level you were at. But I'm in the same size that I would have been originally, so I have to keep that same risk but the risk right now becomes a dollar risk and not a specific level on the chart or price level that is where I should be risking off of, which is much more important than a dollar risk. Dollar risks have no value. The dollar risk is just to protect yourself, but you aren't trading the actual move or using real support and resistance lines and levels to be able to trade off of. So that's something that if you miss your entry because you didn't pull the trigger, then hey, okay, at least you knew you were right. Next time you'll pull the trigger. Don't pull it 10, 15 cents later just because you knew you were right and it's going as it would have been, if. So that's something that I want to fix for sure.
Good stuff, man. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm hoping this kind of episodes help people out. This is something I want to keep up as well, where we just talk about how the month has been, what can we do to improve. And I brought Carl Fred here to help me out today because I like to change things up. So, Carl, thanks for joining me, man.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.